Health is sponsored by the British Gas South Western Gas Care Register.
Yeah, ever felt like you're getting nowhere fast? I'm fit enough, so why should I be wasting my time and energy on a thing like this?
You should just keep on pedalling, Richard. In Good Health this week, we'll be homing in on the people who are kidding themselves. They may think they're fit as a fiddle, but the sad fact is that almost 80% of us don't do nearly enough exercise. All that could change, though. This year, a lot of family doctors are going to start asking some awkward questions about their patients' lifestyles. Don't be surprised if instead of prescribing a course of pills, your GP prescribes a course of exercise for all sorts of ailments. Go on then, Richard, take a break.
I was hoping you'd say that. You know, you can overdo things. But just how much exercise do we need? Well, we'll come back to that subject later. But also this week, you've heard of alternative medicine. Well, you'll be able to see what happened when I consulted a witch about my little problem. A problem which affects 1 in 10 of us.
Trying not to touch the point. And then you take the hand and you prod.
But we start with this, and one of the most encouraging stories to come out of the search to find a cure for cancer. In the next few weeks, doctors will start trials on the world's first anti-cancer vaccine. Hundreds of students are going to be used as guinea pigs as the new vaccine is put to the test. It's the culmination of a research project which began in Bristol 30 years ago.
For 10 years, Rebecca Cook has fought cancer. She keeps busy with a mountain of sewing, but sports and strenuous activities are out. She's not strong enough anymore. This is Rebecca in hospital just 9 months ago. Only now, after a bone marrow transplant, is she beginning to regain some strength. She has Hodgkin's disease, a cancer of the lymph nodes, which affects about 1,200 people in this country every year. It's had a devastating effect on Rebecca's life.
If I indulge myself and let myself feel the emotion, I feel pretty bitter about it. Because I know from the outside now I can look virtually normal. And most people wouldn't know that this hair is only 9 months old, and it might just be my choice of haircut. But I look fairly normal, and yet I, for instance, get on a bus and find other people sitting down. They don't give me a seat, and I stand there and think my legs are hurting, my knees hurt quite a lot, and I'm never going to say, "Can I have a seat?" because I'm not well.
Now, thanks to research by scientists in Bristol and 2 other universities, a vaccine is about to be tested on humans, which it's hoped could one day help prevent Hodgkin's disease and deaths caused by virulent cancers in other parts of the world.
We're very excited about the fact that one can do this at all. And this is the real first step in cancer prevention in the classical sense of a vaccine. And we're keeping our fingers crossed that this will be a model for other kinds of vaccines in the future.
The pioneering work to develop a cancer vaccine has been done here in Bristol. A scientist called Sir Anthony Epstein discovered a virus in a human cancer. He decided to try to create a vaccine against it. It's thought 1/5 of all cancers are virus-related, so if the vaccine works, it's hoped that millions of people could one day be helped. This is the virus to which he gave his name, Epstein-Barr virus. It can cause glandular fever in us, but in China, the same virus is thought to be one of the causes of a throat cancer which kills as many as 50,000 a year. And in Africa, EB virus may be partly responsible for a jaw cancer called Burkitt's lymphoma. The vaccine is about to be tested on new university undergraduates. A proportion would normally be expected to develop glandular fever. If they don't, then the vaccine's ability to prevent the potentially cancer-causing virus will be known in as little as 2 years.
In order to know whether the vaccine will be effective against preventing the cancer itself, never mind just preventing virus infection, we will have to vaccinate large numbers of people in China. This will take many years because the disease doesn't appear until middle age. It was also a very large-scale operation. But the simple act of preventing infection in local college students would have enormous significance in terms of demonstrating that we can prevent infection by this persistent, latently infecting human virus, which is associated with some major world cancers.
Scientists believe in years to come, mass vaccination programs could include inoculation against EB virus with other routine childhood injections.
We're talking about many, many thousands of folk dying in underdeveloped countries at the moment from cancer caused by this virus. And that would be a very major achievement if we could prevent those cancers.
The idea that a simple injection could one day help prevent the kind of suffering she has had to bear is particularly appreciated by Rebecca Cook.
I read about it just before I started my last treatment, and it looked really exciting. And I must say, I mean, it's very exciting. Very personally, I read it, and then when I read to the end, I thought, oh, actually, that's not going to be any good for me. You've got to, obviously, it's a vaccine preventative, not curative. And it would be magic. I mean, I wouldn't wish this treatment on anybody.
And the technology may also one day prevent other cancers. Scientists are already working on a vaccine for cervical cancer, also believed to be partly caused by a virus. It's taken almost 30 years' research and a great deal of faith in their work to come this far. But scientists are confident this vaccine is the long-awaited payoff.
Gillian, it's exciting stuff, but apart from Hodgkin's disease, may be mostly benefiting people elsewhere in the world. But are there other spin-offs with this vaccine to us here at home?
Well, if the vaccine does prevent glandular fever, then it could be used for that purpose alone. Of course, it's a very nasty illness. In some people, can keep you off work for several weeks. So it would be a benefit just preventing the glandular fever.
Well, this, as we've heard, could be a vaccination against certain cancers. Could we then, in the future, look forward to other vaccinations against cancer?
Yes, if this prototype works and it does prevent certain virus infections, we might be able to go on and develop vaccines against other viruses and prevent other cancers, particularly cancer of the cervix and possibly things like breast cancer, even leukemia.
It's great, amazing research, and we wish them the best of luck with it. Well, there's more on that and all the items in the programme and a special free backup pack which we produced, and we'll give you the address at the end of the programme.
In our A to Z of food tonight, we're looking at the letter S, which is for salt, perhaps the most commonly used seasoning of all. And we've taken some health tips from a dictionary of food written by Dennis Bodenham, a retired Bristol plastic surgeon.
We're joined by food writer Caroline Waldegrave, who runs one of the country's top cooking schools. Now, each week Caroline will be taking us on a tour of the food alphabet and giving us some advice on healthy cooking. So, Caroline, today it's salt, and apparently we're all taking in too much of it.
Yes, we're meant to take in 3 grams a day, but if you're the average person living in the UK, you eat considerably more than that. But I think that if you're eating a lot of processed foods, that's probably why you're taking in too much salt, because they're unnaturally high in salt.
Well, let's find out first why too much salt is bad for us. Gillian.
Well, it's because in certain circumstances that could lead to an accumulation of sodium in the tissues, and that can cause edema or swelling. And even more importantly, in certain susceptible people, excessive salt in their diet will contribute to the development of high blood pressure.
Caroline, you talked about processed food having added salt. I was amazed to hear that next to bacon, cornflakes contain the most salt
Yes,
for
it's
processed
sort of
food.
deceptively high. You wouldn't expect to have that much salt in a cornflake. It's unnecessary.
And pickle has a high salt content.
Yes, when you make pickles, you need salt for the preservation, but we're not going to eat pickles every day of our lives, so I wouldn't worry about pickles being terribly high in salt. I'd much more worry about cornflakes being high in salt.
What is it about the natural food stuff, then, that it doesn't contain an awful lot of salt and yet it still has flavour?
Well, it has flavour because you add the right amount of salt. In packaged foods, there's often too much salt. If you cook a chicken breast, the amount of salt that's in there is the amount that you put in there.
Yeah.
If you buy a prepared chicken breast with some sort of coating on it, the amount of salt that's in it is the amount of salt the manufacturers decided you should need. And that's probably too much.
Yeah, what do you think about salt substitutes, then?
Well, I've always had a slight down on salt substitutes because I think that if you use salt substitutes, you still like the taste of salt in your foods. And it would be much better to use salt and use less and less until you don't like eating foods that are very salty.
Is there a compromise here we can work at where you're getting good food and you're also keeping an eye on how much salt you take in?
Well, If you mean, can you use spices and herbs and things in cooking in order to bring out flavours rather than using salt? I don't think there is, because salt helps to bring out the flavour. So you've got to develop a palate for less salt.
So more of the natural ingredients where the salt isn't added.
Yes, and if you're eating mainly natural foods, you can take in considerably more salt when you're cooking, because you're not eating the packaged foods which are so unnaturally high in salt. So if you don't eat crisps every day of your life, you can have a slightly more salty sauce with your chicken.
I'll bear that one in mind.
Good advice. And we'll be taking another look at the A to Z of healthy food with Caroline next week. If you can't wait until then, we do have this leaflet with all you need to know about cutting down on salt and a lot else besides. It's all in the backup pack.
Peppered with fascinating facts. We'll take a break. Coming up in the second half, a spot of real magic. We'll be back, warts and all, in a moment. Great. Welcome back. Just watching them makes you break out into a sweat, doesn't it? Let me introduce Helen. This time last year, she was just a clerk at Butlins in Minehead, a lady whose only exercise was the occasional game of badminton. Well, now she's a fitness fanatic who just can't give it up. Why? Well, it's all the fault of the local GPs who've decided to do something about Somerset's appalling fitness record.
Yes, a couple of years ago, this report painted a shocking picture of our health. The most comprehensive survey of its kind in the world revealed that when it comes to exercise, we've been deluding ourselves for years. For instance, while 80% of us think we're fit, the truth is that a third of men and 2/3 of women can't even walk up a gentle slope without becoming breathless. 48% of men and 40% of women are overweight. And 7 out of 10 men and 8...
But they did their own survey in Somerset and found that there the figures were even worse. Well, in Minehead, they've decided to do something about it. One GP got in touch with the local Aquasplash sports centre, and between them they managed to organise a 10-week course aimed at getting their patients fit again. Well, now the patients get exercise on prescription. Not just swimming, of course, or aerobics, but toning, cycling and walking. And that's where Helen Hunt came into all of this. Helen, how have you benefited from the course?
Well, I realise in hindsight that I had a very negative approach to exercise. But with doing these 10 sessions of very varied exercises, that I actually enjoyed it and wanted to do more of it.
Well, you're an after, because this is the result of that 10-week course. And Pamela, with respect to you, you're a before.
I am.
So what do you hope to gain from doing the course?
Gain? I don't hope to gain anything. I hope to lose some weight and to get into a regime of fitness to maintain a healthy life.
Good for you and good luck with it. Now, these two ladies are under the supervision of people like Liz Saunders-Singer, who's one of the practice nurses, and Gina Edwards, who's a local health visitor. Liz, can I ask you, first of all, is this course restricted to just one type of person?
No, it's not. That's the whole idea. We're aiming for all age groups, from 15 to 75, if you like. And we've just benefited so much from exercise ourselves, we just want to share it with everybody.
We must say that you two have actually had a go at this too.
Oh, definitely.
And can I just say, you look very well on it too. Gina, can you sum up the benefits of a course like this for everybody?
We see it as a social occasion when people can have the opportunity to carry out new exercises that they haven't had the confidence to do on their own before, a general feeling of well-being and possibly to lose a little bit of weight in the bargain.
So feel healthier and certainly happier.
That's right.
The very best of luck to you all, especially Pamela, who's just starting out.
And where Minehead leads, the rest of Somerset is soon to follow. This spring, the health authority is launching a county-wide campaign along very much the same lines. With me now is one of the people involved in planning that process, sports scientist Andy Smith.
Hi.
Andy, if somebody goes to their GP and the doctor recommends exercise for them, how does the scheme operate from that point on?
Well, I think the first thing to say is a GP needs to make a decision about what type of fitness course a person needs to go on to. So, for instance, if the person has got mild or high blood pressure, then they may need to go to a specific course. And so we're setting up a scheme whereby fitness centres are actually recognised. And to be recognised, the centres will need to have an appropriate programme. And that would include conducting health-related fitness tests on a patient to see where we're starting off with them, and to design an individual exercise programme which suits their particular needs.
Will all sports centres be of a sufficiently high standard to actually take part in the scheme?
Certainly some centres will be recognised, but obviously others won't. And the biggest variable will be the quality of the exercise leaders themselves. We're looking for exercise leaders who've got the appropriate qualifications and also the experience to deal with patients who come from GP referrals.
And generally, how much exercise are you recommending that people should take?
On the courses that people be referred to, they'll probably exercise in a supervised setting once a week, but they'll be recommended to exercise 2 additional times on their own in the community. And it's important to stress that although exercising in a health club is important, things like brisk walking and swimming in the community are equally as valid.
And it's not just people's physical health you're hoping to improve, is it?
No, in fact, many programmes across the country have emphasised exercise to reduce coronary heart disease, but mental health is also important. And one of the things that we're going to run in Somerset are 2 pilot projects to look at how physical activity can help control anxiety and depression. So mental well-being is very important.
Andy, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I reckon you two have worked your tea off by now. We'll be following the next course to see how Pamela gets on in future programmes.
And if you want to take up a little exercise and you're not quite sure how to get started, the Sports Council have produced this excellent booklet. That's in the backup pack, and the address is coming up at the end of the programme.
Let's move on to what you might call a spot of real magic. This spot, to be precise. All right, it's not the world's biggest wart, but if you want to rid yourself of a blemish like this, did you know there are 2 ways to go about it? You could either go and see your friendly local doctor, or you could do what I did. Well, they've always had a strange, almost sinister place in folklore. Back in the Dark Ages, they knew how to deal with warts. All you needed was a little superstition. And that's what's brought me to Northstoke near Keynsham. Not quite sure what I might find. Well, maybe that's a giveaway. It may look like any other semi, but behind the front door lives a woman who lays claim to some rather special powers. Because Paddy is a witch, just like her mother before her and her mother before that.
Now, you don't look nasty. Are you a black witch or a white witch or what sort of a witch?
I'm a green witch verging on the pale grey.
Fine. I just thought we'd get that clear before we go any further. Now, look, I come to you bearing a wart, which I'm told that you can relieve me of through witchcraft.
I can relieve you of the wart through various herbs, most of which are here, and there are some strange ideas of how to methods.
You can say that again, whether it's by tying knots in string.
You have to steal a small piece of beef and then rub that on. Now,
You can pass a gooseberry thorn through a wedding ring.
The point. The fact that it's swing it round your head until you're too tired to swing it anymore.
Or the pebbles. It's all just a question of putting your hands in someone else's faith.
But if you'd rather put your faith in more scientific hands, there is another, albeit more painful way to deal with your wart. Every Monday they hold a wart clinic at Montpellier Health Centre in Bristol. With 10% of the population suffering from warts, business is always fairly brisk. It's less chancy than witchcraft, but there's slightly more discomfort too.
Do paracetamol help?
Yes, they do. Paracetamol or aspirin. You shouldn't take aspirin in your
Can I just ask you, how bothered were you by that very large wart?
Well, it's not very attractive. I mean, I'd rather not have it. It wasn't painful or anything, but it was just, I was aware of it. So it's mostly cosmetic reasons I want to get rid of it.
Had you ever had warts before?
No, never. So, I'm bothered now because it's very painful indeed.
That stung quite a bit, did it?
Yeah. Well, it's burning, yeah.
But while warts are such a common and unsightly problem, they're rarely very serious. And in fact, if they're left to themselves, most will disappear on their own without treatment.
66% of people with warts, the warts will clear up in 2 years' time. It's about 30% at 6 months, and another 30-odd% over the next 18 months. So they're going to go on their own. And they're going to go with no discomfort, with no scarring. So treatment, we must always remember, mustn't hurt the patient too much and mustn't cause scarring.
There are, in fact, 50 different kinds, from plain warts, most common on the face and hands, to the verrucas children get on their feet, all caused by a virus infection of the skin. The one thing they all have in common is their stubborn resistance to treatment.
Left her dad outside, very brave. Yeah. Have you been here before? Have it treated?
Yeah.
I use liquid nitrogen, which is at minus 196.4 degrees centigrade. This freezes the wart. It doesn't kill the virus, which is quite happy at minus 196, but it does kill the cells that the virus is living in and allows the body to recognise the fact that there's a virus there. Right? It's very cold. 66% of people will lose their warts within 2 years, and if they happen to visit a witch or stroke a toad or whatever myth you like to believe, the warts will go. There is also some belief, and some studies have shown that wart charming and taking that a little step further into more formal hypnotism can help people get rid of warts, because a great belief that the wart is going to go can increase your immunity and help the body get rid of them.
Well, back with the witch of Northstoke. The only trouble is trying to decide which of those cures is right for me.
I use for warts. This is one of my favourites.
OK, Paddy, which of those potions are you going to use on my wart?
I'm not going to use any of those potions.
Oh, what are you going to use
I'm
then?
going to use house leek.
House leek?
Yes, you don't have to mess about with house leek. It's a bit like a dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is to take the leaves and rub them hard on the wart.
Oh, it's all right. It's a jet going over. I thought that was a sudden flash from you.
Not yet.
Sorry, you were saying?
Wart, go away. House leeks are here to stay. They are many, you are few. My hand is not the place for you.
No flash?
No, I'm sorry, my wand has run down.
Do you know, centuries ago, Paddy, if this hadn't have worked, it would have been bad news for you as a witch, wouldn't it?
Well, I could always turn you into a slug and put you in the garden with the hedgehogs, can't I?
And you don't get that kind of treatment on the NHS. But Richard, it didn't work. You've still got the wart.
I've got to be careful what I say here, bearing in mind Paddy and not wanting to be a slug. But Paddy did say I had to go on rubbing that herb into the wart, which I haven't done. But now, look, we've looked at witchcraft and we've looked at freezing warts away. Is there any other sort of treatment to get rid of them?
Yes, you can buy things over the counter from a chemist to treat yourself, and it's probably worth doing that before you wander off to your GP. You can get paints and gels. The idea is that you should soak the area where the wart is first, rub it with a pumice stone or something rough to get off some of that hard skin on the top, and then take the paint or the gel and just dab it on the wart. But you've got to be persistent. You've got to use these sorts of things for 2, possibly 3 months before you can hope to see a cure.
It's a wart-filled world, but me as an individual, can I look forward to the day when I won't get them anymore?
Not unless people come up with 1,000,001 vaccines against all the different sorts of wart viruses.
Oh dear, well, thanks for that. That's just about it. More on warts and how to deal with them in our backup pack. So if you'd like a copy, then we ask that you write to us, please, at Good Health, 13 Midland Road, Bristol, BS2 OJT. That's 13 Midland Road, Bristol. The details are free, but please send a large self-addressed envelope, roughly 12 inches by 10. It's got to carry a lot of material this week, so please stick on 2 second-class stamps. Oh, and don't forget to mark it Programme 2.
We'll be back in the Good Health surgery at the same time next week.
But in the meantime, I still don't know what I'm going to do about this wart. I don't know, Paddy. Call yourself a witch?
I told him not to be so rude about witches. Good night.
Good Health was sponsored by the British Gas South Western